Well, Manchester United will get the game underway. So it is in the Barclays WSL this weekend. Aston Villa versus Manchester United at Villa Park. Can Villa close the gap on United in the league table? And the question for the visitors, can they keep pace with those pursuing Champions League football for next season, having played and remained in the competition so far this season? Throw back by Anna Sandberg. We also want to see the shape of Manchester United here. It does look early on here, Fern, that Leah Schuler might be playing through the middle.
Yeah, I think she'll start up central within this game and be a real focal point for Manchester United. And obviously they know if they can find her and get her in the right areas, then she can be really dangerous in front of goal.
We'll go all the way back to Tullis Joyce for United. Here is Maya Leticia. Revere knocks it back, and United looking to build, and you can see the familiar shape now of Aston Villa's formation.
Yeah, they'll go high with their press as well, and they will press aggressively, Aston Villa, and they'll allow them to play it, but obviously they will go at the right moments and at the right times, and potentially we'll see how they'll block up and bank up a little bit, try and make it really difficult and condense the spaces in the midfield to allow Manchester United real little time to play and get on the ball.
Revere. Moves it back to Leticia. It's an early free kick here for Manchester United, a side that beat Arsenal just about in the semi-final. What exertions do you think that would have put upon the squad going into this match?
I think Manchester United are doing obviously really well. You can see the early doors. They're looking to try and get into those spaces in behind the Aston Villa back line. But you know, I think for Manchester United today, they can show that at the end of a 3-game week, and they can bring in 2 new additions to the starting 11, and it's really for them about how they've built and progressed as a squad, and now they've got some real strength and depth within that squad that they can rotate, which maybe in previous seasons before they've not been able to do that as much.
Yeah, they also have new signing Hannah Lundqvist amongst the substitutes, and they might be in early. Aston Villa seriously stretched here, but the flag has gone up just as it looked like Melvin Mallard was about to get a shot away.
That's where Aston Villa have got to be really switched on. Obviously offside on that occasion, but not to allow that space in behind, because the pace of Mallard in behind and then you've got Schuller joining in can be really dangerous for them. So early warning signs for Aston Villa for sure.
So Mallard starting out on the left-hand side, Vangerheim out on the right. Shikata for Aston Villa. So she's taken up that kind of number 10 role behind the 2 strikers today, with Mullet up front alongside Hansen.
Yeah, and Hijikata, she's someone for me. She had a fantastic chance last week against Arsenal in the FA Cup, and potentially should have done better, will have been disappointed, but it shows that she's getting herself in the right areas. It's all about how they can convert their chances today, Aston Villa, in a game where chances may be few and far between.
Park picking up the ball between the lines. Mallard have to shift it back out to the summer recruit again. Sandberg getting forward as she likes to do. Park, Mallard. Was just given the ball away, and the chance for the first time for Kirsty Hansen to run with the ball. She's shown real pace and quality here. She's going to have a go from distance, and nearly catches out Tullis Joyce. Super running.
It was a wayward pass originally from Mallard inside her own half, but Kirsty Hansen just showing what she's capable of and just how dangerous she can be and how positive she will be. She's forward thinking. You can see early she's tried to cast Tullis Joyce off her line. And obviously not got on target on that occasion, but again a warning sign there for Manchester United, and she will do that, Kirsty Hansen. She will shoot from distance. We've seen her score fantastic goals from those ranges before.
She's their league top scorer this season with 6 so far. They got one here in the last league game, that 2-1 comeback victory against Brighton. Manchester United's last league game as well was against Arsenal. Their League Cup encounter, another goalless draw in fact with the Gunners. But they've managed to shut out 3 times this season. Jay Revere was actually sent off in the league match, but has since returned, serving her suspension in the FA Cup win over Burnley. Just a bit too much on it for the right back.
Yeah, too much on it, but again, you can see at times there what Manchester United are trying to do. They're trying to hit Aston Villa early in the spaces in behind. When they creep up, obviously, because Aston Villa playing in that 3 at the back sometimes will leave that space out wide if Daylond hadn't managed to recover out on this left-hand side.
Manages to work it up to Hansen. That's a really tidy touch, and Villa look to break forward again, but Georgia Mullet's unable to get onto it. How big a loss right now is Rachel Daly, Fern?
Yeah, I think not only for you know, for her goal-scoring capabilities, but just for the leadership she offers to the side, and you know, kind of that direction she gives them, and that momentum, and also for me aerially, I think she's a massive loss. She scores some fantastic goals aerially, so you know, they'll be welcome to have her back when she's due back for sure.
Well, that super finish in that spirit against Brighton. And the 2-1 win here. Park again. Trying to pick her pass, but Daylon has cut it out. So Ellie Roebuck in goal. That was kind of one of the big talking points in the team news when that broke an hour prior to kickoff.
Yeah, big talking point, but I think, as you said, obviously before the game, she earned her shirt in that FA Cup game last week. I thought she made some fantastic and phenomenal saves against Arsenal and kept Aston Villa in the game at times. So yeah, she's done well, and that's all you can ask as a player, is when you're given your opportunity, you know, how can you manage it so you put no doubt in the manager's mind, really.
To slip the presents ball to Anna Sandberg, and Manchester United will look to build again. Tissier's pot one over the top, and Roebuck can wait for that to drop, but another warning sign of how United are trying to get in behind.
Yeah, it's a real direct game plan from Manchester United. Early look up, can you get your head up, and if there's space in behind, and if the moment's there and the opportunity's right, play that ball in behind and catch Aston Villa back line off guard. I think Ellie Roebuck started her line really high there and did really well to, you know, assure any danger was away from the side.
Pinged out by the former Manchester City goalkeeper. Dropped back by Miyazawa. Good pressure here from Villa.
Yeah, good pressure there from Maritz out on this left-hand side, playing up a little bit higher in this game, up on this wing-back position. But she will do that all game, really, and get that pressure up on Jade Riviere to back Manchester United closer to their own goal. Yep,
Noel Moritz has been playing in the back 3, actually, a little bit recently, hasn't she, the Swiss international, at left wing-back today. Champions League winner herself. Natalia Arroyo took over with the club in a bit of trouble, in truth. Last year, ninth in the table, and flirting with the idea of relegation out of the league, but turned things around, finished the season with 5 league wins in a row, and Villa have been building since. Hacked away by Tullis Joyce. But Fern, feels like Villa are picking their moments to press United here.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about before, in terms of whether they're going to, you know, just sit in that block, build a little bit of a trap, but when it's needed and when the pressure and the intensity needs to be high, they will go in that high aggressive press. Aston Villa, and it was Georgia Mullet at that time leading the press for Aston Villa, but, you know, they will try and force Manchester United into as many errors as possible.
Hansen applies the pressure. Mullet will come out here to try and deal with Janssen. It's a super ball into Schuler, who was eager to move that on to Malar. Taylor, Mullet. Hansen's made a run. It's an intelligent run that pulls Le Tissier with her. Mullet on the edge. Oh, and she just runs into trouble. Was an opening for Aston Villa. Now Malar. Trying to take on Parker. She's done well. And the support is arriving now. Vangerheim. Can she get her shot away? She does. Pops it over the top as we get a first real sight of her in this match.
Yeah, we've not seen her too much in the game so far, but as you can see, really positive when the ball comes across to her from Mallard. Great first-time ball across from Mallard, actually, and the awareness to get her on the ball, and she just does well to beat Daylond, but I think it's good defending there from Daylond for Aston Villa.
Yeah, Sweden international picked up from Hammarby in this transfer window. Actually won the ball for the winning goal against Arsenal in the week. Made her debut for the club in the FA Cup victory versus Burnley, but a first taste of league football this afternoon. Moritz. Intelligent ball down the line by Hishikata. And Hansen being such a nuisance here for Revere.
Yeah, I think any player that comes up against Kirsty Hansen today is in for a tough time wherever she ends up across that front three. She's quite tenacious in the way she approaches the ball and she tries to get hold of it. And again, you can see here she just causes problems for Jade Riviere, who's trying to get her body across and get in the way. And she does well eventually, but yeah, I think she catches Hansen on the way through.
Just about recovered that, the Canadian international who'll take the throw herself. So Manchester United now, after that victory for Arsenal yesterday, 4 points behind the Gunners in third. 1 point behind Spurs at kickoff. Here goes Mallard. Running at Parker. Trying to weave. Can she get her shooting angle? Not quite. And it's super defending.
Yeah, as a defender, I absolutely love to see things like that. 1v1 Parker there. She does really well. She just stands her ground against Mallard, who's looking to jink in and out and try and get past her and beat her, but she only has one focus there, and that's the ball, and she did really well on that occasion.
Yes, 2 times she's been in that situation, isn't it, Lucy Parker, and dealt with it relatively well.
Yeah, again, we see it here. Really positive from Mallard, but Lucy Parker's equal to the challenge. I'm not sure Aston Villa will be wanting to get into too many 1v1 situations as the game progresses, but she's done really well in that instance.
Riviers throws long. Mallard's there trying the acrobatic effort, and Vangerheim was waiting as well. They'll look to go again with this United. Can they get that first touch? Schuler did. Vangerheim can't get it back into the penalty area. And it will be an Aston Villa ball.
Yeah, I think for Aston Villa today, it's just all about how they can keep that consistency within the game. Obviously, we spoke about them looking to keep a clean sheet, but you know, throughout the season, they've had games where, like you say, they've beaten teams like Manchester United in the reverse fixture of this, 1-0, and kept that clean sheet. But then they go to Manchester City before Christmas and they get beat 6-1. So, you know, for them, it's about how they can keep that consistency, and I think today's a real test for them to do that.
Ziotti Olmo with the foul. This is exactly what Natalia Arroyo's been talking about in terms of disrupting the kind of conventional top 4 in the league. Consistency is the key. She says the fact they have beaten some of these teams is proof they can do it. She also wants the team to feel obligated to beat the lower teams in the table as well.
And I think that's the key one. When they're playing against teams in and around them or below them, that's when they're dropping points. Whereas then they go to Manchester United and they can pick up 3 points. It's about that consistency across the board, which will, you know, see them creep up at higher and higher in the table.
His films. Good pressure from United, but Patton steps onto it here, the Republic of Ireland international. Dealt with by Sandberg. Well, trying to get stuck into her defensive duties, but here's Mullet. There's Saint-Delon. Out to Moritz again, up against Riviere. Hansen to the byline. There was a deflection on that, so Aston Villa get their first corner of the day.
Here again, Kirsty Hansen just proving a handful for the Manchester United back line. This time it was obviously the ball in from Marit, which is fantastic first-time ball round the corner. Letitia does really well to stand her up, and obviously his touch took a little deflection there out for a corner for Villa.
Well, it's worth noting that Aston Villa rank second for set-piece goals scored this season, that's 7, and second for goals from corners, that's 5. But Rachel Daly, as you mentioned, found a loss, not in the penalty area today. Well, they might be tempted to go short with it, but United do get that away as far as Delon. Players have stayed forward. And Staniforth couldn't quite get a clean connection on that cross.
She can't quite get it out of her feet on that occasion, but still another opportunity here.
Back with Lucy Staniforth again, former Manchester United player. Well, that looks loose, and Manchester United will look to break. And that pass wasn't good enough as Delon shuts it down. Joe Riviere, the unconventional 1-2 with Letitia to keep Manchester United on the ball. Shifted on by Zigiotti Olma. Sandberg, Malar, Schule in the middle. And well protected by Wilms.
Yeah, I think what we've seen there is actually just a real lack in quality, to be honest, from both sides when opportunities arise, especially for Manchester United on both occasions there to try and counter. I think it was Mallard again there with the loose ball and the loose pass, when Sandberg's done really well to get herself into those spaces out on that left-hand side. So, you know, quality in the right areas is key for both of these sides.
Discussion here with Mary Taylor, and a card has been flashed by the referee. We'll get confirmation of what's happened there exactly in a moment. Mary Taylor was the one in discussion with the referee. Yeah, we're told it's a yellow card for Taylor for dissent. So first booking of the day. Again, Villa pick up on a loose Manchester United pass in midfield, but can't progress.
Yeah, and again, it's another loose ball from Melvine Mallard. Again, when we're used to seeing her with such quality, just a little bit of a lack of composure there when she is on the ball, when she does have space to pick out the pass. I think it's the right idea, but obviously it's the execution on that occasion.
Bangerheim just shut down Taylor. It's a smart ball down the line to Hansen, who's trying to skip away from Letitia. Again, she's done that really well, that channel running, and here she goes. Protects the ball and does manage to jab something at goal, but you sense that Kirsty Hansen's work is going to be rewarded eventually with a real chance.
Yeah, again, she's showing exactly what she's capable of, isn't she? And, you know, she's putting Maya Letitia on 1v1 battles and races again down this left-hand side and causes all sorts of problems.
Delon hooks it away. Shifted into the feet of Lucy Parker, who stood up to the challenge so far. There could be 2 league debuts today for Aston Villa, with Oriane Jean-François on the bench, having arrived recently from Chelsea. And Jenna Niswonga as well, who's on loan from Arsenal now for the remainder of the season with an option to buy. Clearly, Villa feel they have to bolster their squad too into the latter parts of this season.
Yeah, definitely. As you say, I think it's important for obviously all teams across the league to be doing so, but especially for a team like Villa that are growing, that are developing, and that obviously I think the word they use is building.
Staniforth forward. Mullet loose, but let's see if United can be a bit more ruthless here. Park. Half tempted to go it alone here. She stays away from Patton. Park, brilliant individual run. And the challenge was absolutely crucial to shut down the Manchester United star by Parker.
Yeah, look at that from Jess Park. It's a fantastic run. You see what she's trying to do. She's trying to drive on her side and just give them that little bit of oomph and spark that, you know, that they've been missing throughout this game. And you can see the communication between the Aston Villa defenders is really, really good on this occasion between Patton and Parker. And you can see the tackle. And for me, look at that, what that means for those defenders. It's almost like she's celebrating their Parker because it means so much to them to defend astutely in the game.
Corner is a deep one. Shula meets it. And they're appealing for another corner here, Manchester United. But it will be a goal kick. Leah Shula, by the way, was talking about the fact that she's watched lots of United before her move from Bayern and spoke about how much they cross the ball because she loves to meet chances with her head.
Yeah, and that's something I've pretty much spotted quite early on as well when that ball goes wide. First thought for Shula, you can see her just getting in and around that 6-yard box and waiting for her team to pick her out, and I'm sure that's what Mark Skinner has asked her to do as well, to be effective and dangerous in those areas. And a Sandberg with the throw-in.
Park. Tessier, the captain. Mangerheim protects it from Moritz. It's good, strong work from the young Sweden international. Sandberg up against Wilms, has to check back to Jess Park, who's proved to be an inspired signing by Manchester United. It's great footwork from her. Melon. Sandberg on the outside, and again you could see Shula, one of the two bodies in the middle.
Yeah, the two of them obviously waiting inside the area for the cross. You can see Sandberg disappointed there in the quality and the execution of the cross. For me, Manchester United are most effective when they do have their full-backs really joining in high. But so far, Aston Villa, especially out on that right-hand side in Wilms, and obviously on that right-hand side, have done really well with Parker as well to stop any kind of condenser spaces out there.
United pressing Villa, but that's a really super first-time touch from Lucy Staniforth. Melon has won it back here for Manchester United, and they will get a free kick as Patton collides. Looked like they played out there, Villa, but Manchester United got them eventually.
Yeah, it was poor quality on the playing out from Patton, and then obviously I think she knows what she's doing there. Obviously Mallard's looking to try and get in behind her and find the space, and yeah, I think she knows that the initial mistake is obviously going to be costly in that occasion.
So free kick given away by Patton. Julia Zichiotti, who scored in the 5-0 win over Burnley recently, is one of two over this. She will take it. And it seemed the idea was for Melon to nod it back across the face of goal, but it's put behind by Lynn Wilms.
Yeah, I thought Aston Villa set up quite well actually for this free kick incoming, and Lynn Wilms does really well to meet it ahead of Melvin Mallard, because you can see what they were trying to do. I think it's Schuller peels off to try and get the second ball in from Mallard.
Another Manchester United corner. Villa have plenty back. Hasn't been cleared properly by Hansen. That will do the job for now. Jay Riviere hangs it up high towards Mallard. And away by Parker. Films down the line and not quite shut out, and Hansen will break away with it again here for Aston Villa. Mullet played into the channel. And Riviere was quick and read it.
Yeah, Riviere does really well there, doesn't she? Just to read the danger and assess it and come across and stop Georgia Muller before she got a chance to get into her rhythm and into her pace. But again, Kirsty Hansen causing problems. There it was that time for Miyazawa. Villa trying to spot the space and trying to catch Manchester United off guard, and is pretty much a story of how Aston Villa play. They will be direct on the counter and will look to find the space early.
Hijikata made herself available for the throw-in as Hansen tries to force the error from United again. Delon. Does see those in claret keep possession. Staniforth might have got too much on that, and she has. So it will be a Manchester United throw-in. Past the 25-minute mark. What have you made of this so far, Fern?
I think it's pretty even at the minute in terms of, obviously, like you say, the chances created from both sides and kind of the possession and what we're looking at. But I think for me, it's all about that kind of lack of quality right in the final third for both sides, especially for Manchester United. When they are finding those areas, it's how they kind of link up as a team, which maybe you might see that with new additions coming into the side, maybe not having a chance to kind of find their rhythm, play together. That will happen the more they're obviously on the pitch together.
Will it be a case with some of these new recruits that we may not see the best of them in these coming months, perhaps until the next league campaign?
Not always. As I say, it depends on how quick they can hit the ground running. Obviously, it's always difficult to come into a new side anyway, but then to come in halfway through the season in the January window is always tough to try and hit the ground running. But yeah, it depends in terms of how they can do that within their side.
Hansen, oh, she's done extremely well. Villa will stay in possession here. Delon back in. Kind of getting into some decent areas. Parker is tempted and does cross. Zagiotti up. Delon pushes it out. And something for Moritz to work with. Riviere shuts it down. One back, good strength from Hijikata. And to keep it as well. But she was actually in an offside position when that whole thing started.
Yeah, that's unfortunate there for Hijikata, but I think just showing a little bit of what she's about and what she's capable of there, the kind of tenacity and, you know, to win the ball back and be aggressive in her press. That's where she fits in so well to this Aston Villa side, and especially in that press, in that front three across the central areas.
Yeah, first season since she made the move from Japan to play in the Barclays WSL. Mala battling with Parker. Fought by Velms and hurried away by Dominique Janssen. Patton, she knew what she was doing. And it's popped into the channel for Mullet to chase. It's a good ball down the line to Mala. Can't make it stick. Georgia Mullet again.
Yeah, there's a fantastic battle going on down that right-hand side of Aston Villa's, and obviously left-hand for Manchester United. But in terms of Parker and Mallard, really making it difficult for her when the ball comes into Mallard, making it really difficult for anything to stick. Again, we see it there. Just a little bit of pressure in the back makes it so hard for them to get hold of the ball.
Patton composed and works it onto Parker, who steps out from that back three. Seems she had ambitions to take on Sandberg there, but changed her mind. Mallard comes in, and Manchester United do get the ball.
Oh, that's really unfortunate there for Parker. You can see what she was trying to do, trying to win it high up for her team. And I think at one point there was an opportunity to get the ball in, and Aston Villa had good numbers in the box.
She almost wanted the space just so she could kick it off of the defender, right? for a throw-in or something. Didn't quite present itself. Hijikata can't win it. Park does, so Manchester United try and move, and they will. And Villa are exposed here. Schuler, can she get her head up? Well, that was an opportunity because Vangerheim was racing through the middle looking for that first-time ball.
Yeah, and they had players out of position, and Anna Patton was out of position, Maritz was out of position. They had a real opportunity there to counter against Aston Villa.
Also had to double take that there wasn't some defender back there for Aston Villa. Has there been any concern for you, Fern, in terms of Manchester United scoring goals of late? Because, yes, they put 5 past Burnley in the FA Cup, but they haven't quite been as prolific.
Yeah, I think that's been, I think defensively, especially since the turn of, the second half of the season from January, Manchester United have looked a lot better defensively, and obviously taking pride in keeping clean sheets. But I think offensively, not really creating as much in the opportunities they have had. They've not really been as ruthless, as we said before, and as clinical in front of goal. So I think for me, that's an area where, Mark Skinner's really looked to today, especially as you see with his lineup, in making sure that isn't a problem in today's game. But, if we're looking at today already, they've had shots, but they've not really created much on target.
Mullet will get this. That was a fair challenge. And Villa running at Manchester United again. Oh, this good defending by Janssen, and she'll come away with a Manchester United goal through it. Again, promising position, not taken by Aston Villa.
Yeah, you can see the turn of pace from Mullet as well as what she's trying to do. It's a good tackle here from Lucy Staniforth for me. I think she does really well in that midfield, and Janssen here just using her experience and her quality in defending to win a side a goal kick.
Super work in the end from the Dutch defender. Delon couldn't quite pop that round the corner to Noel Maritz. Aston Villa getting stuck in so far.
Yeah, you can see, and I think that will be kind of what makes a difference today. Not always about who's got the most possession or the quality on the ball, but about who wants it more. And for me, at the moment, Aston Villa are showing signs that they're ready to give as good as they get in this game, and that they're hungry, they're first in and around the ball. If it's not one player, it's the other player backing them up. So I think for me, defensively, that will make a real difference today. Just that little bit of passion and pride in the defending, which I spoke about before from Parker when she did win that challenge.
Natalia Arroyo was obviously disappointed to go out of the FA Cup, but said that focus could turn now to what they need to do in the league this season. Also acknowledged that perhaps Arsenal away wasn't the easiest opening FA Cup tie they could have been presented with.
Yeah, it was a difficult task for them from the off, but then when they have obviously players injured as well, it made that mountain a little bit higher to climb, unfortunately, for them last week.
Hansen loses out. Mallard, oh, lovely touch. She gets her shooting position, and it's a brilliant save from the goalkeeper into the side today, Ellie Roebuck, to deny Manchester United.
Yeah, she does well to stay alert in the Aston Villa goal, doesn't she, Ellie Roebuck? Especially from Melvin Mallard, just that little bit of individual brilliance you see here. She jinks past Parker, and it's a strike on goal. I think it was creeping in the bottom corner, but you can see she's so prolific, but it's a fantastic save just to tip it round the outside of the post from Ellie Roebuck, and that's why she's in the side today.
That final angle actually made that look even better. United trying to maintain their pressure. Vangerheim in, Schuller's there, and they will get another corner. And Villa just having to withstand this spell.
Yeah, and they will. They'll have to suffer in many periods in this game. It's about how they come through it the other side. And again, we see it again here, just so positive from Mallard. You can see she's aiming for that far corner, and the outstretched left hand of Ellie Roebuck does so well to get down to it.
Oh, it's rounded the goalkeeper's head, and it's ended up in the back of the net, straight from the Manchester United corner. Roebuck couldn't get there. Schuler was at the back post, but didn't need to make the touch. And the opening goal goes United's way. Zighiotti congratulated by her teammates. Villa behind. United make the most of that second corner in a row in extraordinary fashion.
Aston Villa are going to be so disappointed with the way in which they concede this goal after everything we just spoke about. The ball comes in from Zighiotti Ullman, The confusion between Roebuck and Wilms at the back post. Real disappointing lack of quality there from Aston Villa, and you can see Schuller coming in at the back post, but she doesn't need to. It's, you know, it's gone straight in from the corner, and yeah, they're going to be so disappointed with that, Aston Villa, because as I said before, they have been equal to everything Manchester United have had to throw at them today so far.
Well, a remarkable way for Manchester United to take the lead at Villa Park. And a real sucker punch for Villa, given how well they played in the 35 minutes up until that moment. Julia Sigurti-Olma, who scored in the FA Cup win over Burnley, now has one in the Barclays Women's Super League.
Yeah, again, just you see it again here, the corner creeping in at that far post. Got to do better. You've really got to do better when that comes in. There's no one on you. You're unopposed. Yeah, really disappointing from Villa's perspective.
Here come Villa now. Moritz out to Hansen. She gets her shot away and catches out the goalkeeper. What a reply from Aston Villa. And of course it had to be Kirsty Hansen, formerly of United, who picks out the corner. A super reply, and it's 1-1 in the Midlands.
Yeah, what a fantastic time for Aston Villa to be able to respond to going 1-0 down. You are at your most vulnerable, Manchester United, when you do go 1-0 down, but make no mistake, this is fantastic for Moritz as she finds Kirsty Hansen in space out on this left-hand side, creeps in through the legs of Riviere, and she's just so positive. She's been dangerous all day. She catches Fallon Turles-Joyce off guard. She's gone to go one way, and she's put it the other side of her, and it's a fantastic finish from Kirsty Hansen, and she's got her side back in this game.
That's her 7th league goal of the season, by the way, as Mallard tries to persevere for Manchester United. Crucially, Villa did not let their head drops after the goal.
Yeah, exactly, and you are at your most vulnerable when you've just scored a goal. You're kind of on a bit of a high. You're not quite switched on from the celebrations, and the other side, if they can capitalise on that, which what Aston Villa have just been able to do, then they've got themselves back into a fantastic position now.
Mallard, and it will be a rather ominous Manchester United corner from that side as Parker puts it behind and Julia Sigurti-Olma steps over to take it.
Whether she tries to do the same thing again.
Let's see. Let's see. I think we know where Leah Schuller's going to end up when this delivery goes to the back post, if it goes to the back post, because she was ready to turn it in as well. Surely she can't repeat the trick. This one kind of chopped out. Oh, and Roebuck gets a hand to it on this occasion, but it was another menacing ball into the box.
It's causing all sorts of problems for Roebuck in that goal. She does better with it on this occasion, palming it away, but just doesn't look quite sure for me when those corners are coming in, whether that's lack of communication from her or players in and around her.
Shifted on by Turles-Joyce, who was beaten at a near post. Didn't quite see that coming from Hansen. Vangerheim's not going to be able to keep this in for Manchester United. Ellie Roebuck called into action once again.
Yeah, we'll see it again here as the corner comes in, puts it in a dangerous area. I think it's Sandberg causing problems. Just tips it onto the bar on that occasion. Not onto the bar, just away from goal. But again, I think it's Wilms coming in on her. He wants to make no mistake on that occasion. But yeah, done better on that time round. But I think it's a time now where Aston Villa just about steadying the ship a little bit, trying to keep possession, obviously away from Manchester United, and just get a hold of the game a little bit.
Put forward by Roebuck. Will the goalkeeper herself be much blame at herself for the goal and the corner? The delivery was near perfect into that top corner in off of the post.
Yeah, but I think you've got to do better if you're unopposed in that goal. There wasn't really many players in and around her. You say sometimes you've got 2, 3, 4 players making it difficult for the goalkeeper, but it wasn't on that occasion. So I think she will be disappointed for that one.
Mullet does superbly to find Hansen. Great pressure on Manchester United again. Hansen off. It was a really dangerous ball. There were reinforcements arriving She is causing her former club all sorts of problems.
She is, and on this occasion I give credit to Mullet in the build-up as well, but putting the ball across, I think it's Films coming in on that right-hand side. I think Sandberg does well on that occasion, but yeah, again, keep creeping into more difficult areas and difficult places to defend for Manchester United. Especially that's where you want to put it across. You want to put it across the 6-yard box to cause that little bit of chaos and confusion between your goalkeeper and your back line.
The front two for Villa have been so industrious out of possession, making life uncomfortable for United when they do want to play out. Well, for Aston Villa, I think kind of rightly appealing for a free kick, but they'll have to build out from Patton again.
Yeah, I think with that front two, they're just making it difficult for Manchester United to mark them and pick up, which they do that because they move so fluidly. You see Hansen now picking up a more central area and Mullet doing the same, but that's not where they stay.
Oh, lovely football. Staniforth does manage to work it back into Hijikata. The shot is a long-range one, and it was watched all the way by Tallis Joyce. Siantelon trying her luck from range, having not scored this season. Park. Oh, she's given it away, but United will be mightily relieved that a free kick's been given. Eager to try and get on the ball in a deeper position, the Jess Park, to try and get Manchester United up the field again. Yeah,
which I suppose is credit to Aston Villa, the fact that Jess Park is having to drop so deep to come on the ball. You know, for Villa, that's probably a positive, and what they'd want to see is Jess Park as far away from goal as possible.
We're back to Patton, and Villa can build out from the back. So 2 wins in 3, the victories over Brighton and Liverpool in the league. There was in between that, of course, a 6-1 loss to Manchester City. But bear in mind, it's a Villa side that only won 2 of their opening 9 league games of the season. Something of a surprise given the way they finished the 24-25 season. Picked up by Parker. And she'll get forward, having collected it from Wilms. Good work from Melon to retrieve it. And a little bit of a coming together that earns United a free kick.
Yeah, I think Mallard does really well there. I think maybe he doesn't get as much credit sometimes for a defensive work rate as well, and I think she shows on that occasion that, you know, she's willing to put in the work off the ball as well, not just on the ball. And yeah, a bit of clever management from her, just using her body and her strength for me on that occasion.
Schuller tries to hold it up. Patton gets a toe on, but United will get that second ball. Zigiotti Olma. Melon does decide to shift it out to Sandberg. Millar has it back again. Ball round the corner. Cleared away by Aston Villa. Did see Fern half wince where Manchester United played another loose ball into the middle of the pitch a moment ago. There's been a few of those in this first half.
Yeah, there has, and obviously Aston Villa are equal to it with the pressure they're applying. Obviously, you can't really afford to play those loose balls into midfield, because I think it was Staniforth on that occasion made sure that she was there and in the way, but obviously Mira Taylor's done the same in the midfield on this left-hand side as well. So you can see they bide their time, they wait for their moments, and then they usually are quite good in the defensive aspect.
Park's on it back. Riviere, first touch to open up her body, and Morris just trying to stand her up here. Back with Park again. Villa have it. Hansen can't quite get it up to Mullet, dealt with by Janssen, and Zigiotti Olma breaks into the space. She already has one, she's looking for another. Malar, and over the top from Zigiotti Olma.
That's what Manchester United need to do more of. It's moving the ball quicker from obviously left to right on the opposite side, catching Aston Villa out, because when they are in shape and they're rigid, they are difficult to beat. But when the space opens up, you see it here for Zigiotti, she can't get a shot off because she's got 2 defenders in front of her, which makes it really difficult. And on that occasion, obviously, it's over the bar. But a bit more signs of what Manchester United might need to do a little bit more in that second half, is moving the ball a little bit quicker with a little bit more quality to find the spaces on the opposite sides.
Yeah, and the summer signing from Bayern in the Manchester United midfield is having an increasing influence in this game. Ishikata into the channel for Hansen again, who wants to run at Letitia when she can. Picked up by Ishikata, who will bend one! Really good stop from Tullis Joyce, and Aston Villa nearly take the lead right on half-time.
Yeah, and that's why you've got someone like that in your goal in Fallon Tullis Joyce, because Hijikata does really well to find some space that she can try and pick out the top corner. But yeah, Tullis Joyce does well with her save, spreads herself wide, makes herself big in that Manchester United goal. Again, we see it here, just opens up past Riviere, finds that yard of space on the right-hand side. But that came again down this side from Kirsty Hansen, creating space and just dragging Maya Letitia out of position. As a centre-half, knowing personally myself, you do not want to be dragged out of the central zone and the central spaces where you are most comfortable to be defending, so she's making it difficult for her out there.
Mallard can't quite persevere. And there is the half-time whistle. A game that kind of ramped up in the 10 minutes to half-time. Manchester United taking the lead in truly bizarre fashion when Julia Ziyuti-Olmer's corner flew all the way in off of the post. But no surprise, after Ellie Roebuck was beaten, that the equaliser came via Kirsty Hansen for Aston Villa. So at the break, Aston Villa 1, Manchester United 1. Aston Villa get the game underway, and bear in mind, prior to their win over Manchester United back in November, Aston Villa had not beaten United in the WSL. 10 attempts, no wins. If they play like they did in the first half, not impossible, they can do the double over Manchester United and close the gap on those European places, but they under real pressure here early.
Yeah, they are well and truly in this tie, but, you know, what we've just seen there straight away, which I'm guessing is what Mark Skinner said to his side at half-time, is you need to impose yourself on this game. You know, you need to get yourself within the faces of the Aston Villa players and play with a little bit more intensity and a little bit more meaningfulness around your press and the way you approach the game, which, you know, we saw that there with Jess Park setting the tempo for them straight away.
Here is Park making an early run up against Parker, and Manchester United gladly take another corner kick. Well, Mark Skinner, actually speaking pre-match, was talking about the word invade, needing to invade Aston Villa. Hasn't quite happened yet.
Yeah, not yet within that first half, for sure. Getting themselves in good positions, but maybe, yeah, as you say, that final decision, that final ball.
Well, in comes the corner. It's one that skews out this time. And Aston Villa headed away as far as Jade Riviere. League form has certainly dipped for Manchester United. It's 1 win in 5, and we'll all remember they were unbeaten in their opening 7 games, winning 5 of them. There was all the title talk. And really, the drop in form has started since losing to Aston Villa at home back in November.
Yeah, you know, they're obviously managing as well, aren't they, being in the Champions League this year as well, and is that taking its toll on them physically, mentally a little bit at times, especially with the build-up towards Christmas. There was a lot of games within that, so, you know, it's how they manage that. But for me, it's, you know, conceding silly goals and sloppy goals and conceding more goals at this point this season than they did last season. We're already at 13 goals against this season, now 14. Whereas this point last season, they'd only conceded 7. So, you know, it's a talking point, and one that I think they've looked to kind of decipher on. You can see the battle heating up there between Hansen and Sandberg as well.
No, Hansen has been relentless so far this afternoon. And, of course, Manchester United start their season so early, in essence, didn't they, with those 4 Champions League qualifiers. Kirsty Hansen looking so threatening out there today. She made 90 appearances for Manchester United, scoring 16 goals, helped them to their promotion back in 2019. Her work is causing her old club all sorts of issues, especially down this side as Ishikata gives chase. Park manages to evade Staniforth and does really well to set away Melvin Mallard. French international with a big ball into the penalty area. Schuler imposing herself, trying to win it, but he won't run for Zigiota Olma.
I think Mallard does well there on that occasion to recognise the space on the opposite side, which is a little bit what we spoke about within that first half. How can they find the space in the opposite player rather than at times running into trouble and making it difficult for themselves.
Sandberg. Zigiota Olma with a splendid touch, and you see Staniforth comes flying in to commit the foul.
Yeah, you can see here Zigiota Olma gets the ball past Staniforth. It's a clear foul on that occasion.
Staniforth retreats. And it will run out here for an Aston Villa goal kick. Put forward by Roebuck. And cut out by Sandberg. Here's Mallard trying to weave through. And Wilms just gets her body in the way of it. So it's back with Janssen for Manchester United.
She got herself into a really good position there, Mallard, but for me, someone like Sandberg, who's coming and overlapping on that left-hand side, has to get higher quicker and has to demand the ball. Tell her that she's in a good position, that she's in space, and to play her in early.
You were saying to me at half-time, Fernando, that's something you want to see from Manchester United more in the second half, the full-backs getting engaged high up the pitch.
Yeah, engaged, joining in, obviously communicating with the players in front of them and then creating that overload, which they do so well at times.
Zigiota almost ball into the middle, nearly finds Schuler. Looking for her first Barclays WSL goal. Runs out to Park. It's a deep delivery from Park, and Roebuck kept it in, and in fact didn't keep it in, but it was a goal kick anyway. It did look like the final touch was from Vangerheim.
It's an interesting one for me there, why Parks chose to deliver the ball in. You know, you've got defenders set up there, they're organised, they've got big presences, those defenders in the box, and to make it an aerial battle when you had time and space on the ball, probably not the correct decision for me.
Four by Parker. Georgia Mollett just managed to work it onto Parker, but it's with one back. Park gets it back. Lovely touch from Jess Park. Ended up at Manchester United as part of that swap with Grace Clinton. It's another ball across, and Schuler, what a chance! What a chance for her to score her first league goal for Manchester United.
Oh, it's a fantastic opportunity there for Schuler to get herself on the score sheet. I think it's Janssen on this occasion, just plays the crossfield ball. It's Vangerheim does actually really well to meet the ball, but yeah, it's, you know, she can't steer it goalwards on that occasion. Just connects with it all wrong, but finds herself in such a good position, unmarked within the 6-yard box.
And interestingly, a second time that Manchester United have played that ball to the back post in that kind of position. Oh, and she's ruined the fact she hasn't taken that there, Leah Schuler.
Yeah, Vangerheim does really well, just to make it really difficult for Maritz on that far side. And obviously causes problems to get it across the edge of the box, but you know, potentially one that Manchester United might rue later on down the line in this game.
Taylor, well picked up by her in the middle of midfield. Maritz has done well to shift that on to Hansen. Really aggressive stuff out of possession here from Manchester United. Mallard Wilms down the line for Georgia Mullet to chase.
It's really relatively comfortable there for Manchester United, but you know what I did notice there was May Letitia. She went really tight on Hansen to try and stop her turning, and constantly encouraging her team to do the same and to press and not to give them any time and space.
As a defender, is there a risk that comes with that, about being a little bit more aggressive perhaps with Hansen?
Potentially, because she's going to get dragged out of position, but obviously if she does manage to win the ball up high, then can get herself and her team in a good position to go forward.
Another perfect example of it there. Clearly a directive you'd suspect, a conversation perhaps at half-time.
Yeah, because the last thing they want is to give Hansen time and space to run at them, for one, but also that space to run into and in behind. She can be so dangerous.
Natalia Arroyo said there have been challenges in her year in charge, and admits things weren't exactly easy when she came in with the team struggling, but said it was a good chance to really get to know her players in the tough moments. I believe she is bringing her style to the football club, that aggressive high press, that bravery on the ball.
Yeah, and I think she's bringing that kind of positive kind of mentality for the team and the players to be able to go out and you know, express themselves. When she did come in, they were in a difficult position, you know, and confidence was low, mentality was probably low, so it was a difficult task that was presented to her to try and turn things around, but she's obviously doing that so far.
See Sean Goater on the coaching staff as well at Aston Villa. Off, and Delon thought she had the ball. She's claiming she got the ball. In fact, she's got a yellow card for her efforts.
Yeah, not for me on that occasion. She obviously tries to get really close. But the contact with the ball, obviously minimal, and now you're in a difficult position where you're defending from. But Schuller does, you know, well to get herself in front of the ball, protect the ball. Trying to impose herself on the game a little bit more, which we're seeing since the turn of the second half, Schuller.
So it's another yellow card for Villa, who do have Miri Taylor in midfield on a caution as well. Sandberg over this, as is Zigiotti Olmo. She hangs this one in. Well dealt with by Parker. Sandberg. Resets to Riviere, who, under pressure, forced to go back to a goalkeeper.
Yeah, fairly straightforward free kick there for Parker to defend from an Aston Villa point of view.
Well, the obligations of the UEFA Women's Champions League are not too far away for Manchester United. They finished 6th in the league phase and have to play in that additional round. They'll take on Atletico, a team they've already beaten this season. 4 wins and 2 defeats in the league phase for Mark Skinner's side in their debut campaign in the competition. Plus the League Cup final, still in the FA Cup as well. They'll play Chelsea in that and the League Cup final. Free kick here to Villa. It's no wonder really they've had to move in the market with so many games coming up.
Yeah, they definitely did have to move, and they had to bolster their squad, which, you know, they've definitely done that with the experience and the, you know, the prowess of the players that they have brought in. And it's just fantastic to see for them and the progression that they've gone through as a side, Manchester United, over the last couple of seasons. And FA Cup final obviously last year, now League Cup final this year, Champions League competing in, as you just said. So, you know, they're making real strides as a club.
Understand Manchester United are going to make a double change in a moment as Jade Riviere gets into it with Maritz. Not happy with the nature of the challenge. Elizabeth Turland and Hannah Lundqvist could be next up for the visitors here. Park. Mullet will apply the pressure to the goalkeeper, and the pass, well, it looked loose, but it did find Miyazawa. And Letitia and United can play out.
Yeah, on that occasion, they do get Miyazawa on the ball. They have found that outlet. They can get themselves out onto this right-hand side.
Riviere. DeLong challenges and wins that tackle and the throw-in.
see Hijikata just sitting on Miyazawa, making it difficult for her to get on the ball, not giving her any time and space, and obviously kind of stopping Manchester United being able to play through here, which they obviously, you know, that's their game and how they would like to do that going forward, so they're having to force to go direct at times.
Yeah, the two Japanese internationals going directly head-to-head out there at Villa Park. Mullet, again, great pressure from her today. Moritz does have support. Hansen offers herself here. Hijikata. Just wonder whether Villa could have played forward there. Let's go back to Roebuck. Well read by Sandberg. And good running here from Parker. Wilms, oh, it looked like she had a pocket of space for a moment there, but didn't release the pass. And a great position here for Parker. United seriously stretched. The cutback's good, and the finish from Mullet wasn't a million miles away from giving Aston Villa the lead.
Yeah, Parker does well out on this right-hand side. As you said originally, couldn't quite find Wilms, who'd ran on the inside with the underlapping run. And I think Mallard, it originally does well, but then manages to let her go and find herself space for the cutback. And Muller will be disappointed she's not found the target with that one. And you can also see Tullis-Joyce, as the shot happens, it goes over the bar. She's demanding more from her team. She wants her team to step up, and a shot from the edge of the box unopposed is not what you want to see as a goalkeeper.
Well, Hanna Lundqvist, the new signing Sweden international who made her Barclays WSL debut last time out against Arsenal, is on. Schuler is withdrawn, so it's a straight swap up front for Elizabeth Turland. So the Norwegian international, actually United's top scorer in all competitions with 11, is now into the action. And Jade Riviere, unsurprisingly, right back for right back. What do you make to the changes here, Fern?
Yeah, I think you can see what Skinner's trying to do by obviously bringing on Turland, as you said, top goal scorer in all competitions, and with Mallard still on the pitch, top goal scorer in the league as well. He's looking to try and find that goal, which obviously they need to do to make it a little bit more difficult for them. And giving that more experience into Lundqvist and letting her get herself into the game and get higher up into the pitch to cause problems for Aston Villa.
Sigurdsson Olmer involved again, one of Manchester United's stand-up players so far this afternoon. Appealing that there might have been a hand there, but that's been ignored by the assistant referee.
Yeah, again, it's good defending out on that side from Maya Letizia. Anytime that ball's coming into Kirsty Hansen now, she's not giving her any time, any space to play, and keeping her within her own half, which is obviously where they want it to be.
There's been some activity in the Aston Villa dugout, and you can see along the touchline they're going to make a double change here. Ebony Salmon is coming on, as is Oriane Jean-Francois, the new arrival for Chelsea. So that's a straight swap in midfield, and bear in mind that Mary Taylor is on a yellow card as she comes out. And Georgia Mullet, who's worked really hard today, is coming off as well here, Fern.
Yeah, no, she has worked really hard, and you know, she's put in a shift for those 60 minutes, and you know, the team are obviously thankful for that. It's now where they can bring the changes and bring in a player like Ebony Salmon, who's got a fantastic work rate, but also that prowess in front of goal for them. And for me, obviously, Jean-Francois coming on. Chance for her to impose herself into the game. She was, you know, she came on against Arsenal in that FA Cup game last week. You can see what she was about. She's going to be aggressive in her press, and she's going to make it difficult for Manchester United in that midfield.
Mallard, Park up with her. So both teams now made double substitutions. Well worked back by Vangerheim again. Oh, and Park in a shooting position, and Parker did so well to shut that down.
Parker does well again, doesn't she? Someone who's really taken pride in her defending today. Gives Jess Park kind of no opportunity when she gets her first sight at goal.
She is defending like she's loving defending so far in this game. Every challenge. Might be busy again here as United move once more. Vangerheim. Can't quite weave around Delon. Marriage there with the challenge. No Ella Toon, of course, for Manchester United at the moment. Here's another look at that chance, though, for Park, who's kind of playing in that number 10 position.
Yeah, you just see Park kind of ghosts in there, finds herself a little bit of space, but not enough, because Park was equal to it and closed it down really, really quickly.
A good challenge. Jean-François straight into the action, the new signing from Chelsea. Reported £250,000 transfer fee to bring her across from Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, I think for me that just shows the intent from Aston Villa as a team and as a side, and you know, the way they're building on the pitch and off the pitch in terms of that investment and what they're looking to achieve over the course of the next couple of years.
She steps in again. Made her Villa debut in the FA Cup game against Arsenal last weekend. Actually nearly scored, had a header over the top of the crossbar.
She did, and I think she'll be disappointed with that one for sure, because it came at an opportunity where she could have got her side back into the game. But what we're seeing is a player that will get herself into some very good positions and again cause problems for the opposition.
Vangerheim shut down by Delon.
And Delon's doing really well out on that left-hand side as well, just not to give any time to Vangerheim.
Cecilia does have a pass on. Vangerheim's little layoff to Zigiotti Olmo didn't quite work out. Hansen standing forward, and Ebony Salmon trying to get involved for the first time since her introduction.
And they will try and do that, Aston Villa. They will try and hit teams quickly on the counter and on the break and find the space. But on that occasion, obviously, Maya Letitia was favoured to win the ball.
Another change coming up for Manchester United now, and Vangerheim's run out is over for Manchester United, and Lisa Nelson, the Norwegian international, is going to replace her in that United attack.
Yeah, an experienced player, obviously coming on, someone who's, you know, noted for their passing range, an impressive player when she can get on the ball as well, and they'll be bringing her on to bring that experience into the side when they're trying to, you know, be creative and find a goal.
So the throw in the hands here of Moritz. Villa haven't actually been in the Manchester United third, if you like, very much in this second half, apart from the chance for Georgia Mullet around the hour mark. Parker. Wilms. Turland applies the pressure as Roebuck belts it clear. Mallard. Nelson straight into the action. Oh, and that overlapping run from Sandberg just bought her a fraction of a second, and the header from Zigiotti Olmo was relatively tame into Roebuck.
Yeah, Nelson's first opportunity to kind of just get herself in the game and impose herself on the game a little bit, but slightly isolated out on this left-hand side. I'd like to see more kind of combination play with the, you know, with the wide play when they do get in those areas.
Hansen, good running, and tries to work it up to Ebony Salmon, but can't quite find her feet.
Yeah, that's almost on that occasion where they asked the striker to just stop running and come and receive it to feet, because Maya Letitia on that occasion was always favourite to win it in behind. So can you stop running, get into feet and create that yard of space for yourself?
It's a super touch around the corner from Hishikata, and Jean-François has been set away here for Aston Villa. She's still running. Moritz hangs it up, and Wilms is at the back post. What a header by Sandberg. Brave and bold to deny the chance, because Aston Villa were nearly in. Yeah,
opportunity here for Aston Villa. Jean-François just driving into that space. Finds Maritz out on this left-hand side. It's a fantastic cross, but Sandberg is equal to it on the opposite side. And, you know, she probably wasn't favourite to win that ball as Wilms is coming in, providing that little bit of pressure, but she does exceptionally well.
Sandberg. Parker gets it back. That's a nice little combination again with Wilms. They've got a good understanding down the Villa right, and the free kick after the challenge by Melvin Mallard presents Villa the chance to swing it into the area.
Yeah, Parker causing problems again down this right-hand side, and we're seeing Mallard have to really work and defend for Manchester United, but yeah, nowhere near the ball on that occasion. But it's opportunity here for Villa, especially with this wide free kick.
Will pattern over it, Staniforth as well. Defenders forward, and it will be swept in by one of the handful of former Manchester United players in Aston Villa's team today. Cross doesn't quite work out, cleared by United. Delon will recycle. That's a bit better, but still dealt with. Jean-Francois can't quite jab it onto Ebony Salmon. And Parker with a swing at it that results in Manchester United breaking. Zigotti almost made a good run. Here's Turland. Tries to force it through, and Parker, well, perhaps there was a lack of communication there between goalkeeper and defender.
Yeah, and you just wonder whether that lack of communication within the first half has just put a little bit of uncertainty into Aston Villa's back line, especially on the, you know, those occasions Roebuck you can see come for it. It's a last-ditch clearance as Manchester United try and find a way back into this game.
Sandberg to deliver it. Despite the fact the goals haven't been free-flowing in the league of late, they are the second top scorers in the WSL going into this weekend. Manchester United with 24, although they haven't got, going into this game, a goal in their previous 2 away outings. Sandberg's delivery, brilliant header from Patton, and Sammer clears it away. That was such commanding defending.
Yeah, and that's what we've seen from Aston Villa and what we're used to seeing so far in this game. Fantastic defending.
There's Patton again. Landmark day for her, 100th Barclays WSL appearance, 100th Aston Villa appearance. Miyazawa trying to dictate things. Mallard down. Oh, what a first-time finish. There's that quality. Turland dumps it in. Scored in the 4-0 win here last season. Was the midweek hero in the League Cup and gives Manchester United the lead for a second time.
Oh, it's fantastic, isn't it, from Turland? You see Miyazawa just plays that crossfield ball. Mallard does so well, and it's so instinctive from Elizabeth Turland, and that's why they've brought her on. That's why they want her to come onto this game and make that difference. Ellie Roebuck can't get down quick enough. I think she'll be disappointed she's not managed to make any contact with that, but that's exactly why they brought Turland on, and we spoke about it before. She's so prolific and so dangerous in front of goal. It's a fantastic finish.
Well, great link-up between United's attacking players. Natalia Arroyo now may have to act and try and find a more attacking way to go about these final stages. However, there aren't a great deal of attacking options on the bench, especially given the fact that Ebony Salmon is already out there for Villa.
Yeah, exactly. They've kind of already rolled that dice a little bit with Ebony Salmon, but Manchester United have been equal to it so far. I think just to, you know, go back to the goal as well and allude to just how good it was to see Mallard and Turland link up. Obviously, we spoke about them both being on the pitch and that attacking mentality, but Salmon here.
Here's some intent, here's some running. Salmon, good save. What a chance for Aston Villa to again immediately equalise. Tullis Joyce in the way.
Again, it's that, you know, that immediateness straight after conceding a goal. We see that, you know, Aston Villa aren't going to rest on their laurels. They want to get themselves back into this game. On this occasion, Ebony Salmon's got the beating of Maya Letitia, and she shows, you know, her pace and what she's got, that energy going forward. And it's a great save from Tullis Joyce. Really strong hands to push it round the corner.
Cross delivered in, and Patton's there, and it's over the top by Hansen. So another chance for Villa.
Another chance and another little warning sign there for Manchester United that they can't afford to switch off. Again, so close to scoring a goal and getting themselves ahead in this game. As Hansen on that occasion came to her really quickly, couldn't adjust her feet in time to get it on target.
For anyone watching the first half, Aston Villa equalised within, what, a couple of minutes of going behind and trying to apply the pressure to get level again. Well dealt with by Patton. So there's been another change here, and Jenna Niswonger, who is on loan from Arsenal, comes on for her league debut for Aston Villa, having just joined on loan. She's only played 16 minutes of league football this season. Villa are stretched. Park weaving and scoring. Manchester United hit a quick-fire double to take this game away from Villa. Jess Park has been hinting at doing that today, and now she takes her chance. 3-1 the United lead.
Yeah, and look, here comes into Jess Park, and she just shows a little bit of quality, energy, and picks her spot fantastically. Makes the correct decision. It's Mallard again with the assist for me. I think she's done really well, but, you know, Park makes no mistake. And Aston Villa players can't get anywhere near her because she has that turn of pace and that creative energy, you know, and she shows exactly what she's capable of there.
Well, it seems when she gets to that mindset that she's going for goal, she does not stop. And that for Jess Park is a 5th league goal of the season. Her 8th in all competitions. Her previous goal, in fact, coming against Juventus in the Champions League, that winning goal. And now the task for Villa. What a big 5 minutes it's been in the game, Fern, with United nearly conceding an equaliser moments before that.
They did, but again, Manchester United just showing, you know, what they've got in terms of the ability to turn games round and turn them on their head at most when it matters, and the quality and the players they've got. And again, credit to Mallard in that, in spotting Park out on that far side and in a lot of space. She makes a decision early and she plays it in at the correct time.
Niswonger, meanwhile, trying to get involved, having come on for Daylon here. Lays off to Salmon. Still Ebony Salmon. Couldn't quite get that little shooting position she wanted. One back by Niswonger. Jean-Francois. Well, they'll take the corner here, Villa.
Yeah, it's another positive response from Aston Villa. Go another goal down, try and get themselves back into the game for the final 15 minutes. Good defending from May Letitia as well.
Staniforth trying to give Villa some hope in the rain here. Delivery's good. Not entirely convincing from United by Park. Pops it off, and United now looks so threatening on the counter-attack as Villa open up a little bit. Wilms has done well to cover that off.
It's good defending from Wilms, but look at that energy from Mallard. She's done nothing but run today. You know, credit to her, trying to drive her side forward and get them into the opposition half early.
So Manchester United on their way, it would appear, to a 2nd win in 6 league games. It means they will keep pace with Arsenal. Jean-Francois read that well. Salmon. Again, the 2 Japanese stars in the respective teams up against each other. Jean-Francois again. Niswonger. Need bodies in the middle here, Villa. Letitia away. And here go United. Mallard. Looked like she was going to reset the whole thing. Turland. Score of that remarkably instinctive goal for 2-1. Good football again. Miyazawa trying to dictate things, United, and it's a splendid pass. Laid off by Nelson here, Park, and they're in again, and they score again. And how about this moment for Hannah Lundqvist, the new signing, up and running in the Barclays WSL, with a finish that surely wraps this up for Manchester United. Villa have opened up, and United have made them pay.
Yeah, I think you could see when they went 3-1 up, they weren't done yet. And again, you know, that energy from them to get themselves up against Aston Villa. And on this side, as Nelson plays it out into Jess Park, and she obviously gets the shout because she hears it coming, and she does so well. Lundqvist picks a spot, beats Ellie Roebuck at a near post. But again, that awareness from Jess Park, you can see just to wait for the onrush and run from Lundqvist, and it's a fantastic first-time finish for her on her debut, and you can see exactly what it means.
Buries it emphatically. Has only been in England a matter of weeks. But the Sweden international from San Diego Wave, formerly of Atletico and Hammarby, announces herself properly as a Manchester United player, and it has been, for in the space of 8 minutes, some blistering stuff, ruthless stuff from United.
Yeah, it has, and it's what we spoke about just after half-time, about can they get their full-backs joining in more, and, you know, that you see there's a perfect example of it there when it's done right and it's done with quality, that there can be a real positive outcome to the end of it.
I know you won't be smug about it, Fern, but you're absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on with your first-half assessment and the changes that have helped sort this out for United on what was proving a tricky afternoon. Villa Park, by the way, rather quirky stacks with 5 goals today. Prior to today, no stadium in the Barclays WSL had seen more goals over the past season and a half, and there might be more. Roebuck did read that. Parker. Tried to guide that down the line to Salmon. Her chance for 2-2 now feels like such a major moment in this match.
Yeah, and it just shows, obviously, the difference that can be made, obviously, from taking your chances when they do arise, and Manchester United have definitely done that in this second half to kill any chance of Aston Villa getting back into this game.
They've been racking up the opportunities since half-time, and Park once more. Lays it off this time. Turland, tight angle, scores again. Well, United thought they had a fifth, but the striker is denied by the offside flag.
It's another big let-off for Aston Villa there, for an opportunity for Manchester United to expand the scoreline even further. You just wonder whether the fact that, you know, Manchester United have been able to make so many changes. Again, Jess Park, you know, providing the difference here. For me, it's a very difficult angle, but she looks onside on original look. Really difficult decision.
Well, it's mega tight, but Elizabeth Turland denied her second goal since coming on. And Kirsty Hansen getting a whack. It was a close call, and of course, don't have the technology to review.
But that player, Kirsty Hansen, there, the difference between the involvement of her in the first half compared to the second half is night and day. Manchester United obviously saw that she was seeing far too much of the ball, having far too much time, and they changed that second half.
Film's delivery. And Turland was caught late in getting that away. So I suppose credit to Mark Skinner and his players for addressing what was the major problem they had defensively in that opening 45.
Yeah, that, and also they've got a fantastic bench that they can make such good changes that are going to make a difference to the game. Unfortunately, Villa, with their injuries, and a little bit light in terms of the changes that they can make that are going to make a, you know, real impact and a real difference for them today. Manchester United had that. Well,
trying to get forward again. Staniforth pops it forward. Miyazawa, well, they did lose recently 6-1 to Manchester City, Aston Villa. They won't want to open up too much and be on the end of an even bigger defeat here. Here comes Salmon. Good running from her again. Hansen's in the middle. It's another corner for Aston Villa.
Just trying to find a way back into this game, aren't they? Aston Villa obviously really, really late on. That occasion, it's Ebony Salmon.
Double change on the way. Millie Turner is going to come on. And we understand as well that 16-year-old Layla Drury, who scored in the FA Cup against Burnley recently, the age of 16, is going to come on in the Barclays WSL. What a moment. First of all, Villa's corner, and one that's too deep for anyone in claret and blue.
Yeah, too deep on that occasion with the corner, but, you know, fantastic to see Drury coming back on after making it, you know, scoring on a debut like you see, and Millie Turner after such a long period out with injury. What she can obviously bring to this side in terms of experience, in terms of leadership, in terms of real quality on and off the ball. So it's fantastic to see her coming on in this fixture as well.
Yeah, so here comes the double change, and Harvey Mallard, who's made 2 of these goals in the latter stage of the match, is going to be withdrawn. So on comes Manchester United's youngest ever player, Manchester United's youngest ever goal scorer. And now she comes into the Barclays WSL for the first time. Her finish against Burnley in the FA Cup was absolutely ruthless.
Yeah, I think, you know, she's obviously got a very, very bright future ahead of her, especially in such an evolving Manchester United side, and the qualities that the players in and around her will bring to her game as well, and really bring her up and develop her as a player. So it's fantastic to see her be given this opportunity.
And confirmation as well, the young stars keep coming. Millie Round is now on for Aston Villa, the young forward, wearing number 45. Jean-Francois does actually have rounded support here. Could have played it into her there, you felt like. Nice wongers up. Jean-Francois there. She's battling for it. She gets it. Hansen. Wilms keeps it alive. Smart uses the body from Hansen. But Drury applying the pressure. Hansen's kept that in play. And then Drury having to do the defensive work.
Yeah, fair play to Drury there. She didn't give up on the ball even when she was applied the initial pressure, then got beaten by Hansen. But she stayed engaged and stayed with it. I think Aston Villa, just in the build-up to that, had a real opportunity for Oriane Jean-Francois just to play in Round, who was sat on the edge of the box with no Manchester United players around her. It's just that little critical decision-making, which has maybe been lacking at times for Aston Villa today.
Ball into the middle is held by Tullis Joyce.
Double substitution for Manchester United, place number 9, Malvin Mallard, will be 57.
Good challenge from Parker to win it.
And place number 17, Dominic Janssen, will be 21, Millie Turner.
Janssen comes in field and puts Lundqvist under a bit too much pressure. Park retrieves. High and up towards Turland. I'm sure this will be an extremely satisfying second half for Mark Skinner. And to use his original word, they did invade Aston Villa a little bit better in the second half.
Yeah, definitely better in this second half, just with the way they approached the second half. From the first whistle that went off, you could see the turn in them and the energy that they tried to come out with.
Turner nearly got there, in fact, shutting that one down. Went into the League Cup semi-final in the week with a knock and played and got the winning goal. Salmon. Hansen does really well and was trying to catch out Tully's choice.
Yeah, given space and time, that's what she will try and do. She'll try and shoot early and try and get on first sight of goal, which she's not had many of this second half at all, so I can see why she wanted to go for herself there.
Drury's first meaningful attempt to try and get forward for United. So next up for Manchester United, they have league encounters with a struggling Liverpool side and in truth a struggling Leicester City side, before Mark Skinner turns attention to the Champions League encounter with Atletico and then the double encounters really in domestic cups with Chelsea in the League Cup final and the next round of the FA Cup. Perhaps a really good thing, another example of turning to the bench and having that talent for the upcoming busy months.
Yeah, it just sounded busy the more you were,
yeah,
the more you were talking about the amount of games they had to play.
Oh, Drury with a chance, couldn't quite angle a shot at goal. It's super play, and Zigiotti Olmo nearly had her second. She's saying there was a touch, and now rues the fact it isn't 5.
4,501. As always, we thank you supporting Villa. Thank you very much indeed. 4,501.
First opportunity there for Miyazawa to get herself a little bit higher and a little bit more involved in this game. See what she's trying to do. She just sees the run of Zigiotti Olmo and just can't steer it underneath the bar. Manages to get a little touch as well, just to put it out for a corner.
Has scored this season, doing so against Liverpool, but nearly made another for Zigiotti Olmo. Oh, and the header, it's a direct attempt at the near post from Millie Turner on what is just her 3rd league appearance of the season.
Yeah, she can do that, Millie, and she's very good aerially, especially from corners and set pieces. So it's an opportunity for her to try and get herself back in the game, and couldn't steer that one on target.
United want a free kick, they're not going to get it. For Aston Villa next, they're away at Everton and away to Liverpool, so a couple of trips in the way of Merseyside for Natalia Arroyo's side, but it's a result that is a dent for their slim hopes, really, I suppose, of finishing inside the Super League's top 3.
Yeah, they'll obviously be disappointed with the way in which the second half has panned out for them today. Aston Villa matched everything in the first half pretty much that United had to throw at them, but obviously United just been able to turn the screw a little bit in the second half, and their quality has shone.
Lundqvist with a strong challenge. Moved on by Tullis Joyce. And Turner with the diagonal that will go out of play. I suppose at this point, Fern Whelan, we should announce the Barclays Player of the Match.
Yeah, for me, it was a difficult one because there were so many really quality players, especially in the second half. Jess Park really stood out, but for me, I've gone with Melvine Mallard. She's actually a player not on the pitch at the minute, but I think that shows just the amount, her work rate today. She didn't get on the score sheet, but the assists that she provided made a real difference for this Manchester United side and getting themselves back into the game. So, yeah, she's my player of the match for today. And
they're looking for more. They might get more. Nelson in, and Roebuck this time in the way of it. Free-flowing stuff from United in the second half. Patton was back there as well, trying to do her defensive work.
Yeah, it's pretty much been bodies on the line for a lot of the game for Aston Villa, especially when Manchester United find themselves in these positions. You can see, the doubling up really. Ellie Roebuck does well just to make herself big and to rush it out for a corner.
Into the third of 4 additional minutes. Park will be able to keep that in play. Miyazawa. Dangerous. And eventually hacked away by Villa. Elsewhere in the WSL right now, Spurs being held by Liverpool. Big result both ends of the table, in fact. Zigiota Olmo can't quite work that crossing angle, but she will get the throw in after the challenge from Staniforth.
Yeah, there's just a step up in gear from Manchester United, really, wasn't there, within the second half, really, in all areas of the pitch. Even talk about it on Player of the Match, but I think Maya Letizier's second half, again, has been fantastic.
Miyazawa's shot straight into a Villa body.
Yeah, and then to Aston Villa, obviously, you know, haven't been able to really turn the dial with their subs today, but you do feel like when they have a fully fit and all fire and all cylinders squads, then they can make a really good case for themselves to be, you know, quite high up in the top half of the table.
Well, there's the full-time whistle. It has been a great week for Mark Skinner and Manchester United. Through to their first ever League Cup final. And today they dismantled Aston Villa with a thrilling second half showing. Some wonderful attacking football. Jess Park amongst the scorers. She made it 3-1. Turlen for 2-1 and Lundqvist off the bench got the fourth. It was level at half-time after goals were exchanged from Zigiota Olmo her corner and a strike from Kirsty Hansen. But a deserved win here for the visitors as it finishes Aston Villa 1, Manchester United 4. Mark Skinner congratulating his smiling players, and they're right to smile. They've coped with the challenges of 3 different competitions in 8 days pretty well here, Fern Whelan.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a big challenging week for them, as you say, but winning the FA Cup, or winning the League Cup, and now winning the league, it's been a fantastic week for them on the whole, and for them as a squad, as you say, being able to bring on some really young players for their debut, new signings for a goal on their debut, and Hannah Lundqvist as well. So a real positive week for them as a team, for sure.
Yeah, and they keep the pressure up on Arsenal, and they are within touching distance of Chelsea. We'll run through all the scores and the league standings at present. But this does move Manchester United to within 1 point of Arsenal in third and 2 points of the defending champions Chelsea in second. Turning to the bench, so crucial in that second half as well.
Yeah, I think squad depth just proved the difference today for Manchester United. You know, being able to bring on quality players, and Turlen, when she did come on, being so decisive with their goal and making the difference when it was needed. There was so many players I spoke about. I thought Mallard run her socks off. I thought Jess Park was fantastic with the goal and the assist. So, you know, a real team kind of second half from them. Aston Villa will be disappointed with the way the game got away from them, especially after such a solid first half from them. They just couldn't keep it going for the full course of the 90 minutes. But as you say, it does make it really exciting at the top of the table, especially with those competition for Champions League places, for sure.
Manchester City, meanwhile, leading 2-1 at London City Lionesses, set to extend their lead at the top of the table to 9 points. That would put them in such a commanding position to go on and win it. But you can see Mark Skinner here rallying his troops at the end of the game. Has spoken of a real desire to have opposition teams fearing Manchester United. You can see here he's picking out Hannah Lundqvist after her goal too.
Yeah, exactly. We spoke about the impact and the positive impact fullbacks joining in can have, and she came on and enforced herself within the game and did really well within the second half to do so. And you can see he's given credit where credit's due, especially on her debut. You can see just how much it means, that big smile across the faces, and I think they can all be really proud of the way they performed within that second half, and sends a real message to the other teams as well, going, obviously not scoring when needed, but then being so ruthless within that second half when it mattered.
And then 16-year-old Layla Drury is actually towering over a lot of her teammates. What a moment for her making her league debut. Yeah,
she stood next to Tullis Joyce, who is very tall after having stood next to her, and I'm a tall person, yeah, so she must be tall as a 16-year-old. But again, what a week she's had, scoring in the FA Cup and now coming in and, being Manchester United's youngest ever player. Yeah, it's fantastic to see, and it's just how important, obviously, development is for young players within this country, and really developing them and being able to give them their opportunities and to play around such top quality players, you know, across the WSL, from international, all ranges of internationals. I think it's really good prospect for her.
And with no Ella Toon, these two, Jess Park and Julia Ziotti Olmo, were real creative forces out there today for United.
Yeah, when they're lacking that creative edge at times from Ella Toon with her 8 goal involvements that she's got. I think then you can call on players like Jess Park. Made a nuisance of herself today. Zigiotti Olm didn't stop running. Work rate was unbelievable. So they make a real force within Manchester United's midfield, and yeah, made it really difficult for Aston Villa.
Applauding the travelling away support, 4,500 fans in total in attendance at Villa Park. But Manchester United always well supported on the road. Mark Skinner was talking about this with regards to the supporters who travelled for the League Cup's semi-final winner, Arsenal. Well, let's hear from the Barclays player of the match, Melvin Mella, who was so crucial in helping provide a couple of goals in that second half.
Dominant second half. What did you make of it?
Yeah, it's true. We make a lot of energy second half. We know we have a job when we come here. It's hard first half, but yes, we can put the character second half, and that's good.
What was said at half-time? Because the step up was huge after the break.
I think we start good. The 10 minutes we start good together, but after we give a lot ball Aston Villa for play fast. So yes, when we come in, Mark speak with us a lot, and yes, and now we come back and we know what we need to do.
And a pair of assists for you. How much are you enjoying this season personally?
I'm enjoying a lot because I play football. When I play, I'm so happy. That's my best position on the field. Of course, I'm striker. I want to score, but I play for the team, and when I can give assists, I can give a ball. That's okay.
Well, that was the only thing that was missing today, a goal, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think I run hard in front, so now I want more run hard in front of the goal for score.
You seem to really be enjoying that link up with Elizabeth Turland in particular.
Yeah, I know this player. She play a lot with the player in front of her, and I like her. So she's machine. She's confident at the moment, and I like that. So keep going.
And that completes a really positive week for Man United in general, doesn't it? Off the back of your win against Arsenal in the week.
Yeah, it's good win, and it's good week also. Now we keep going. We have a big game also next week, Liverpool, and we need to stay focused because after Champions League, and yes, this year it's so important for us.
Well, Melvin, you are the Barclays player of the match, so congratulations.
Yes, thank you very much.
And there is your award.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
That's excellent. Melvin Mella, didn't realise it was going to end with her winning the Barclays Player of the Match award. But Fern, she was your pick, and she was excellent that second half.
Yeah, she looked a bit surprised, didn't she? I think for me it was her endeavour, it was her work rate on and off the ball that did it for me. There was a few loose decisions in the first half, but we can excuse them when your second half is, you make the impact that she did. And I think she really spurred the team on, and sometimes maybe credit for her goals, but I think really credit where credit's due today. It was the off the ball work rate for me, and then providing those assists for the team when they were needed. So yeah, thought she did really well today.
Well, there she goes, and let's reflect on the action that we've seen at Villa Park so far this afternoon. And Manchester United took the lead in unusual fashion coming up to half-time. Yulia Ziotti, Olmer's corner, going all the way through.
Yeah, it's the lack of communication at the back post. You expect the back post player to kind of head that. It's gone in from Zigiotti Olmer to make it obviously 1-0.
But some reply a couple of minutes later. Kirsty Hansen, no surprise it was her.
Yeah, no surprise. She was a nuisance all first half for Manchester United, and you know she makes no mistake with the finish. Wrongs foot's Tullett's choice, puts it in down to the keeper's right-hand side, and they were straight back in it.
Yeah, United then ramped things up a little bit in the second half, and in particular thanks to the substitutions, Malar's header, and the super first-time strike, catching out the goalkeeper from Elizabeth Turlin.
Oh, it was so instinctive from Elizabeth Turlin again. Mallard with the assist. But it was a great finish from her to get a side 2-1 up.
And they didn't have to wait long for an individual effort from Jess Park. This had been coming.
Yeah, again, ball across from Mallard into Jess Park. Only had one thing on her mind, and it was putting the ball in the back of the net. And she does exactly that. Makes it so difficult for anyone to get a challenge in. I mean, you can see just how disappointed the Villa players were with not being able to close her down for that 3-1 goal.
And then the icing on the cake, Hannah Lundqvist, just a couple of games into her Manchester United career, burying this chance for 4-1.
Yeah, great finish, wasn't it, from Lundqvist? Out on this right-hand side, Jess Park just sees her coming, has that awareness. It's a great ball into her, and it's a fantastic finish from Lundqvist on her debut.
And it finished 4-1 to Manchester United. Truth, they had further chances for further goals, but they'll take that victory, especially given the way the first half was playing out. Look at these scores here. Wow, extraordinary. So Leicester beaten 2-1 by West Ham, kind of dragging them into the relegation mix. And by proxy, Liverpool firming that 2-0 win over Spurs.
Yeah, it's a fantastic win for Liverpool there, just maybe showing what the signings that they made in the January window will have done for them to get themselves out of the hole that they dug in the first half of the season. But yeah, another good win for West Ham as well there against Leicester.
And after Chelsea slipped up yesterday, Manchester City took advantage and have claimed their win at London City Lionesses. So this is the league table, and City 9 clear now as well, Fern.
Yeah, it really is Manchester City's to lose now, isn't it? You see them put themselves in such a good position that we haven't really seen over the course of the last few seasons. That gap is really widening, especially with Chelsea losing yesterday to Arsenal. So there's a tall order for anyone to come and beat Manchester City, especially in the form that they're in.
And look at Manchester United after the result today. Yes, City seems to be peeling away from the rest of the pack, but Manchester United with this victory and Chelsea's defeat right back in the mix for a top 3 finish and qualification again for the UEFA Women's Champions League, with the latter stages of that competition still to come this season as well. OK, let's get further reaction from the Manchester United camp and hear from their manager, Mark Skinner.
Mark, congratulations, a brilliant win, and I guess that rounds off a fantastic week.
It really does. Looking at the other results as well, you know, puts us right in that chasing pack. Obviously, City win. I think they've just won. So, but for me, more importantly, I didn't think we were good enough first half. We were in a lull. We had words at half time with ourselves as a collective, and we decided that we need to do a lot better second half. And you know, when you leave Villa in the game, they can be dangerous, but we controlled the second half much better, and it could have been 6 in the end.
Can I ask what was said at half-time to produce such a reaction?
Yeah, honestly, it was a couple. It started with like words in terms of we asked for intensity before the game, didn't get it. We asked to move the ball with simplicity, didn't do it. We kept getting caught on the sides, overplaying. And we were turned down opportunities to put the ball in the box, and that's where you score goals. So really simple things. And then we had a moment just at the end where I got all the players together, and we just spoke about clarity, what we need. We bring the emotion back into game format, because everybody has their own thoughts about the game. So you bring it all into a collective. And we spoke about the simplicity of moving Villa from one side to the other side, rather than getting trapped in little pockets. And then that'll stretch them out, and we'll be able to use their spaces, and we did that effectively second half.
The strategy seemed quite different first half to second half. It looked like it was quite direct in the first half, trying to get in behind, and then it was a lot more intricate, a lot more sort of combination play in the second half.
Yeah, and I'd say that. I think what I'd say to you, we didn't utilise the invasion space in the first half. We were too slow turning to play forwards, so it gave Villa defenders. We were playing inside when they had a 3v3 at the back, and we didn't use the width enough. So we just got those cues wrong, and trying to communicate on the side and change behaviour is always the challenge of a coach. The reset point is half time, where you go, right, this is clarity. And so we used that, and that was the difference. We used it just a little bit higher up, switched the play, and then invaded a little bit with brains rather than just legs. Mm-hmm. And I think you're absolutely right to identify that, and that was the difference second half. We just controlled the spaces a lot better and moved Villa all over the field.
Just spoken to Melvin outside, and she was our player of the match. Fantastic second half, pair of assists, and she's a bit gutted that she didn't get a goal.
Yeah, she will be. That's the level of player Mal is, and she's been incredible this year. So, you know, she has that. First half, though, what I say to her is that she kept playing into their hands. I want you to be aggressive, but also recognise when to use their momentum against them. So, but she's an incredible player, and like as you say, she deserved player of the match second half because she gets 2 assists and was a constant thorn in Villa's side.
And a word for your January additions as well, Leah obviously, and then we had Hannah off the bench, and she's managed to bag herself a goal as well.
Yeah, really happy with them. Even, as I said to Leah and obviously Ellen, they're almost pre-season now. Leah didn't play since November for Bayern, so we're just getting her up to speed. And I thought Terry came in and was excellent as well. The goal is incredible. So we're trying to get them both up to speed. Again, Ellen, she's learning how we play, but gives you absolutely everything. And Hannah's she's class. She's very classy. With the ball, without the ball, she knows what she's doing. Very quiet, but knows her role and gets on with it. And the goal is a great finish from that angle. But I've got to say, Lisa Nelson came on and made a massive difference as well. She opened up spaces for Jess to drift in. She was really, really pivotal in what I thought was a dominant second half.
And can I just ask about January business? Any other activity likely?
Not right now, but we're looking. Obviously, we'll keep that open while the window's open. I said, and I'll go on record again, I'm really happy with the work we've done. If there's anything that can be done, we'll leave our minds and spaces open because I want to keep adding to this wonderful team.
Congratulations. Cheers, Mark.
Well, he's right to smile because it's an excellent result for Manchester United today. My thanks to Fern William for her company as well. Goodbye from me, Rob Daly. A big win for them in the Midlands as it finishes at Villa Park. Aston Villa 1, Manchester United 4.